The Marybeth Conley Show on KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990. KWAM. Streaming live at KWAMTheVoice.com.
And welcome back to the Thursday Marybeth Conley Show. You're listening to KWAM The Voice on FM 107.9 and AM 990 or KWAMTheVoice.com. Okay, so AllisonKSummers.com is where you'll find our $1 Million Mind contributor. She's with us every month at this time, and it's been a wonderful summer because Allison has helped us with the summer of our career. And Allison, I know you enjoyed the colonic discussion. So sorry to have kept you waiting, but that was fascinating. So how are you today?
Absolutely. I'm always amazed at what I have the privilege of learning from your show, Marybeth. It's always my joy to talk with you and talk to the listeners. It is my passion about helping people open up their life opportunities and economic opportunities, and we have been talking about the summer of your career.
Yeah, you have taken us from soup to nuts, and it's time now to kind of get out of this summer slide. You've done a great job helping us connect with others using this kind of downtime in business to make new connections. But it's time to reset some goals. Yes or no?
Absolutely. I get really excited, as any working mom does, when kids go back to school. My coworkers here said that they can tell I'm like in that honeymoon phase where you got that extra spring in your step because you're back to structure. And that is what I wanted to share today. Is I was thinking about the concept of ready, set, go, and we've reframed that as ready, reset, goals.
Okay.
And yeah, as we're thinking about this return to new school, I'm always kind of envious because when you start a new school year, everything is fresh. There's a freshness about the way people even look at you, right? You walk into a classroom and you get to be a new person. But sometimes in our professional lives and in our careers and in our jobs, if we're not at a point where we're changing jobs or even as business owners, it kind of gets to be the same old, same old. So I want to challenge people. Every time you see a child with a backpack going to or from school, thinking about what you are doing with your personal backpack for your skills.
Okay.
And every time you pass that school and see the flag up high on the flagpole, how are you going to celebrate your personal growth over the next year?
So what questions do you need to ask yourself to begin this process?
Well, I think the first one starts with, are you really ready to step it up?
Okay.
And that really has to do with mindset. Are you going to open your mind and be willing to receive new opportunities or learn new things? Are you, do you have expectations for yourself? And are you willing to put out there into the universe that, hey, I'm acknowledging I don't know everything I should about new current trends or certain aspects of business. So, are you ready to challenge yourself to be something different at the end of next year?
Okay. So you also look back, I guess, the school analogy is great because you would need to give yourself a grade for where you are and have been, yes or no?
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's because, constant learning and moving yourself from point A to point B is so easy when you're in school, but when we get caught up in our daily lives, we forget to invest in ourselves.
Yep.
And we also, and we've talked about this before, what got you to where you are today was good enough to get you to where you are today, but it's not good enough to maybe get you to where you want to be tomorrow and to create those opportunities for yourself.
That's a good point.
Growth opportunity.
Yeah, so we have two entrepreneurs, really, because in addition to pastoring a church and working with Erase the Hate, which is a nonprofit, Ray also has a brand new project where he is teaching. You're teaching trucking, right?
Yes.
Because you have worked in that profession. You have a trucking company yourself, and your wife, and you teach trucking and dispatching. So talk about an entrepreneur. So for this type of person, is it, and even if you're just in a corporate job, you just kind of have to go, where am I compared to where I was, last year, 6 months? Is there a perfect time frame that you want to look at when you're evaluating?
Well, I think if you follow that school year, because I think sometimes a 12 months seems so far away.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, Ray, when you're training truckers, I mean, you've got a curriculum and you've got stages and steps. And that's why I said, left to our own devices, you know, it's just a dream deferred. We're not getting on it.
Yeah.
And so I do think you need to be doing it monthly, weekly. Everybody schedules it a little bit differently, but you have to hold yourself accountable. And that's where I said the ready is that mindset. Are you, you know, are you ready to just keep complaining? Which goes to step 2, which is, what do you think you need to reset, and be honest about it? You know, move from that victim to victor mindset. And don't get caught up in your own mind or your limiting beliefs. But what is it that you are going to own resetting, and not blame on others or your circumstances? Because we all have a lot of challenges at any point in our life. But what does your reset take? And you just had a whole conversation about what you would reset for your personal health.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So you need to identify where your weaknesses are, it would seem to me, and then you need to identify some specific steps, make a list of specific steps that can address those weaknesses. Is that a good place to start the reset?
So I think when we say, what would I reset? What would I learn? What would I do? What would I know that I think is going to help me open up that next opportunity? And some things could be really simple. We talk a lot about connections, because I absolutely believe that connections are your shortcut to everything.
Yep.
Pieces of information, telling people to refer you new clients. But once you figure out what it is that you think you need to reset, and don't try to reset 25 things, because you'll never do it. You'll be so overwhelmed.
Okay. That would be like taking 25 honors classes in school. Okay.
You know, most of us just need to reset, like if we're in sales, to reset a learning some new closing techniques, or learning new customer acquisition techniques, and then, you know, sticking to that we're going to have a schedule of just even doing casual phone calls and telling people what you're up to. But what is it that you want to reset? And then set those goals based on what you think you need to address in your life.
And if there are 3 or 4 things, maybe take it like as a semester, because some things, like what you just mentioned, learning some new closing techniques, setting up some sort of accountability system where you make a certain number of calls, like with Ray's trucking company. If you had a goal of X number new clients, it might not take a full year to learn those skills, right? So treat it kind of like a semester system.
Right, or create a curriculum, like she's saying, you know, kind of be accountable for those goals, but, you know, acknowledge them, but also take action on them.
And then you might be able in 3 or 4 months to begin working on number 2. Yes or no, Allison?
Absolutely. And I really do love short-term goals. And I really love the concept of, and I talk about this when I talk to people about, you know, smart connections, and smart for your businesses. Once you have those goals, so let's say your goal is how are people attracting more clients or raising more awareness, you know, you might find out that if you insert it into conversations when you go out and network, then you might find out how people are doing more with Instagram advertising or Instagram Live, or, you know, a lot of people today are using ClickFunnels or different types of online ads that are pulling people through to you in different ways. But if you don't set these as goals and then inject them in your conversations and your business network, and that's why I love building your networks, is you can throw these questions out there and you don't need to spend hours doing the resources. Trusted resources you already have, you know, will start bringing it back to you. The universe will bring it back to you if you put it down. And you put it down there, again, first you have to be ready, that you truly are ready to step up and deal with it, and, you know, make some of these commitments. I also talk to people, though, about don't worry if you have to say goodbye to some goals, right? Life changes, and life changes so fast. And my coach recently challenged me on this, like really hard. And he said, Allison, I've heard you talk about this goal for 3 years. You haven't done anything with it. We are making it go away, and you're never going to say it again.
Wow.
And he said, because one, it's blocking new goals coming in. And two, nobody believes it. You don't even believe it.
Right. And it's taking up mental space.
Yeah, there you go. But what if it was a real goal and you just had some mindset things with it and you didn't believe you could do it? Is there a way to identify whether you shouldn't necessarily throw that goal out, but you need to somehow move yourself to a place where you can really work on it?
Then I need a different goal that I can achieve. And then I can bring that goal back on the table.
Okay.
But isn't that sometimes a procrastination tool when we're like, oh, we want to build that Babylon, or Rome overnight, and because we can't do it, we don't feel so bad about ourselves because it was such a big, lofty goal to begin with.
We don't even start.
Right, but that undermines our self-esteem and our belief in ourselves to make these things happen.
That's true. So was it hard to give it away, to push it back?
It was, because when it makes you feel like a failure, because you're like, oh, no, I really do. I mean, and I do agree with you, Marybeth. I mean, it was a long-term goal to be serious about being an author and doing more speaking. But that's kind of goals, true goals should be short-term and achievable. I mean, you can go online and look on YouTube about SMART goals.
Or have an expiration date.
Well, very specific, because actually you are... Your book, Connect to Influence, is very, very good, and it's out there. And you are a speaker on a national level now. So it's kind of like by letting go of the big, lofty goal that you've named and making it more specific, you've done it.
Right, you can crush that goal. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the building blocks. But this is my challenge as we close the summer of our career, is when you see those students with their backpacks, think about what skills you're putting in your own personal backpack.
Love it.
And what you're doing to build and grow and make it better.
I will never see a backpack again without thinking of Allison K Summers. Right?
That's a great analogy.
Great information, though.
Yeah.
I love
Load
that.
your
Great
backpack. What do you load in your backpack?
Allison, thank you so much. You are indeed $1 million mind. So I don't know if it was a goal to be $1 million mind, but you've achieved that one. Check it off your list, sister. AllisonKSummers.com. Get her book, Connect to Influence. It will help you build that network so that when you need it, and we always do, it is there. Can't wait for autumn. Man, you are phenomenal. Thank you, Allison.